we are coming back with 13 cars. The 13 cars that we are coming back with, the pairings look like this if you are listening in online. We got Spencer Massey coming back on the solo. G-Dub with lane choice over Chris Gulitti. Burleson with lane choice over Andy Schmall. Jeff Serra with lane choice over Dan Northrop. Doug Foley Jr. with lane choice over Johnny Ezell. Scotty Richardson with lane choice over Kevin Brannon. And Austin Williams with lane choice over Dylan Hough. First pair, Gary Williams, Chris Gulitti, here we go. Both drivers are 00 on the tree, and the win light's going to turn on for Gulitti. 001 and 447 on a 446. Gulitti going to win this one. Gary Williams, G-Dub was 005, take 14 thou at the stripe, and goes 481 on a 482. 14 at the finish line, breaking out by 8 thousandths of a second as Dan Northrop and Jeff Serra. Northrop right side out of Pennsylvania. 475 is the dial, and Jeff Serra with a 466 number rolling up in Jeff Taylor's car. Head start will go to the racer out of Pennsylvania. And with 13, we're going to be coming back at 7. Pre-stage bulbs lit. Now all 4 on top of the Christmas tree. Tree drops and ooh, baby. Jeff Serra misses the tree by 4 thousandths of a second. 004 on the red side. Serra exits the competition here in round number 6. Dan Northrop, 006 and 474 on the 475. Northrop gets the win light and will return with 6 others who are going to be coming back as Johnny Ezell. How about this? Doug Foley Jr. out of North Carolina, 472 the dial on the left side of the track, and Johnny Ezell with a 459 dial on the right side. Johnny Bracket Racer. Getting closer and closer into the big money here. Oh my. Question is going to be what happened there. Doug Foley, 001, gets the win light. Gets well out of the throttle, coasts through. Johnny Ezell ends up running a 465 on a 459. Johnny's reaction time started with a 6. That's trouble. Andy Schmall, Donny Burleson. So on Wednesday, our pro car ended up winning the whole thing. Can Andy Schmall do the same thing here in the Million? He's got Burleson over on the other side. Burleson dialed in at 454. Schmall dialed in at 597. And Andy Schmall takes care of business against Burleson. Schmall 11 green and 597 on a 597. Bang. 18 total. Donny Burleson was 29 green leaving this end of the racetrack and is locked out. Runs 455 on a 454, and the Beretta knocks down another one of the bigs is Dylan Hough and Austin Williams. Dylan coming down out of Oregon, 4:57 for the Cascade Trailers team and for the Bronco. The Pro 1 ride out of Texas, 5:88. Bronco gets to leave first. The Dragster of Dylan going to run him down. He'll pass him. The question just is, where? Three thousandths of a second, the difference between the two in reaction time, and it's going to be Dylan. 17 green, and then goes 4:58 on the 4:57 dial. Austin Williams was 20 green and ends up 300 above where he predicted he would be. Dylan Hough gets to the stripe first by 24 thousandths of a second, lights up the scoreboard. It's now Scotty Richardson and Kevin Brannon. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Scotty, former Million winner. The last of the former Million winners standing. 6:08 the dial. For the copper color Nova, Kevin Brannon in the Dragster. The chase is on. Win light's going to go to Brannon. There will be a new Spring Fling Million champion crowned here tonight. Kevin Brannon, 14 green, and dead on one, ends up 15 total, getting there first by 8 thousandths of a second. As Scotty Richardson was 17 green and goes dead on 6. Down to the finish line, Spencer Massey going to take his solo shot by way of his 001 reaction time last time in the Nova. Spencer. You talking about like getting hot when the time is right. Spencer Massey, 007, and goes 6:47.0 on a 6:47 dial. A 7-pack for Massey. So from 13, we will bring back 7. It's going to be Gulitti sitting on the bye. And here's what's going to be kind of fun about this. 7 is coming back at 4. There will be no bye. This is the last bye of the day. So with Andy rolling into the water box and Doug Foley Jr. rolling up right alongside of him, Mr. Foley. And Andy driving in from quite a ways. Andy coming down out of Idaho. Doug coming all the way in out of North Carolina. Cross-country trek to compete for what will be a $285,000 payday. That's a lot of money. A lot. So can Andy Schmall do what Lucas Walker did on Wednesday, and that is take the door car all the way into the winner's circle out of the pro ranks. 597 to a 469. About that 1.3 second head start belongs to the Beretta. Andy has made his way to the winner's circle here at this track multiple times. Can he get around Foley? 8 thou, the difference between the two in reaction time. Doug Foley's running him down, and the win light's going to belong to Andy Schmall by 10 thousandths of a second. Andy, 18 green and dead on 8 to get the win light. Doug Foley was 10 green and goes 471 on the 469 to come up 10 thousandths of a second short of the semifinals here at the Spring Fling Million. As Dan Northrop and Kevin Brannon. Oh, both drivers are 003 in reaction time, and look at that. 4.60 on a 4.60. Kevin Brannon, 8 total, taking a 5,000 stripe. Dan, Kevin left both with 003 reaction times. Dan Northrop is 1 above the dial. Kevin is dead on 5 and 53 ten-thousandths of a second. Determine the victor to be Kevin Brannon, coming back in the last 4. So Andy Schmall in the Beretta, Kevin Brannon in the Dragster. Will we end up with 2 door cars, 2 dragsters? Or is it going to be a 3-to-1 mix in the semifinals here in the Million? Dylan Hough, dialed 457, getting put over there on that right side of the racetrack. 2 seconds the head start exactly for Spencer Massey. He's dialed 647. Massey is going to light up the board. Once again, Spencer Massey. Let's go 00, 006 and 650 on a 647 to get to the stripe first by 19 thousandths of a second. Dylan Hough was 49 green and goes 458 on a 457. So Dylan's day comes to a close. As we know, it's going to be Andy Schmall, Spencer Massey, Kevin Brannon, and Chris Gulitti coming back as our last 4. So Gulitti taking the parade lap down to the big end of the racetrack. And it is going to be an even split between door cars and dragsters as we make our way into the last 4 cars of the night.
Semifinals here in a Million at the Spring Fling. We have 2 door cars left. We have 2 dragsters left. It will be door car v dragster in each pair. We're going to start off with Chris Gulitti and Spencer Massey. A couple of gentlemen out of the state of Texas. Spencer in the Nova, 647. Will be the dial for that red 71 Nova. Chris Gulitti for Team Rad Tools with a dry hop. I love it. 445 the number for Chris. The winner will make it to the final round and look to join all of the great Million winners that have come before. Massey is off. 009 and 008 up front. Spencer Massey, 008, taking 008 to be dead on 2 and move into the final. Spencer Massey, 647-2 on the 647. Gulitti was 009, dead on 9, and 8 thou behind. Spencer Massey is going to run for the Million. And who will join Spencer? Is it going to be the dragster of Kevin Brannon or Andy Schmall off of the bottom in the Beretta? Andy out of Idaho. 597 is the projection for Andy here. Kevin Brannon in the Hough dragster. Kevin out of South Carolina, 460 is the number for Kevin. Spencer Massey in the Nova is in the final. Away and away. Brannon, Schmall, Kevin Brannon, 003, 4607 to be 10 total, locks out Andy Schmall. Andy was 15 up front and 1 above. And no good. So Kevin Brannon out of South Carolina, Brian Hough, Dylan and the team, with Rabbit hopping into the final here on Easter weekend. Kevin Brannon and Spencer Massey will be the final.
The suite at the Cosmopolitan awaits. And one of these two, either Kevin Brannon or Spencer Massey, is going to add their name to the list that was started by Jeff Verdi, continued on by Luke Bugacki, Randall Reed, Peeps Pennington, Scotty Richardson, and Bo Butner, have all claimed the title of Spring Fling Million champion. The Showgirls, Jennifer and Greta, taking their position down there on the starting line as well. And we've got a Gaffney, South Carolina representation driving the Howmobile over on the left side. 460 is going to be the dial for the Rabbit. Kevin Brannon and Spencer Massey. Coming in the Nova out of Texas, the tree begins to drop. Spencer's down in at 647. Kevin's down in at 460. 5,000 separate them in reaction time, and the win light belongs to the Rabbit. Kevin Brannon on a double breakout. Kevin was 005 on the tree. Take 2,000 at the stripe to beat 2,000 under 459.8 on the 460. Spencer Massey was right behind him and ends up 5,000 under the dial. Massey with a 10,000 light breaks it out by 5,000, but Kevin Brannon, the Rabbit, is going to claim the victory and will become racer number 7 to etch his name on the wall of history here at the Spring Fling Million. The main event day comes to a close in a fantastic side-by-side drag race between the door cars and the dragsters. Kevin Brannon, Spencer Massey did not disappoint.
Kevin Brannon taking the win in a car that he had not been in until this morning.
Pretty cool.
After the first round, was talking to him in the staging lanes, and he's like, I got a pretty good horse here. Kevin Brannon, yes, you do, and you rode it all the way to be the Million main event champion here in 2022, Nathan Hershey.
Man, very cool. All right. We're going to do a little shuffling down there trackside. We're going to head down, and we are going to talk with our newest Million champion, Kevin Brannon, going to be down here in just a moment. All right, we are standing down here trackside. Kevin Brannon is putting on the champion's jacket, the 7th man to don the jacket here at the K&N Spring Fling Million, presented by Optima Batteries, surrounded by the Showgirls. The smiles on the face is like, dude, the big check, the Showgirls, the limo's waiting, the suite is waiting. Man, it's going to be a good afternoon. I'm going to slide in here. Matter of fact, I'm going to sneak in the Showgirls. Just see how this works. All right. Brannon, what a day, man. You jump into a car never driven before. Let me switch sides, see if we can do it a little better. There we go. Jump into a car you've never driven before. The day starts off really well and just ends on an even higher note, man. Tell me about your experience here today. How much does this mean to you?
Man, I can't. I just got to give all the glory to God and thank Brian, Mindy, and family for giving me the opportunity to drive this thing. I mean, they didn't know me and put their trust in me, and I can't thank them enough for giving me the opportunity.
Man, you have had a spectacular year already. Tell me, where does this win rank? You've got so many trophies on the shelf at home, But to be able to join an elite crew like this, what does this mean?
Yeah, this is.
Come on. There we go. Try this again.
This one with all the drama that went on, just to be able to do it and earn it all the way through, it's crazy. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got a lot of great folks surrounding you out here. Like you talked about, the Hough family letting you jump behind the wheel of the car. I mean, when the first time you got in the car, how long did it take you to get used to the whole thing? Obviously not long.
I mean, it's a really good car.
Come on. Fit you well right off the get-go, and man, I can tell the emotion is kind of welling up. This is a big deal. I mean, only 6 other people have been able to stand where you're standing right now, claiming a title like this. I mean, we had a record number of entries for the event this week. Didn't get that many in the million, but it was still a very, very tough field. Was there any one round that you thought really was kind of the key to focusing in on getting this win?
I mean, still in that. There we go. To Kyle. This is all for Kyle right here. The first one without him, and it's emotional watching Pete and the pre-race, and it just almost teared me up too. But I just want to dedicate this one to him and Bob. I appreciate everything they did.
Very cool. Dedicating this one to Kyle Seipel, to Bob Unkefer, Kevin Brannon. You have got a lot of celebrating to do.